Ladies and gentlemen, divers and robots, welcome to the second annual Wreckwatch Oscars, live from the Fishbowl. And here's your hosts, it's Sean Kingsley and Chris Atkins for Wreckwatch TV.
Hello, Wreckwatchers, and welcome to the 2023 Shipwreck Oscars right here on Wreckwatch TV. He's Dr. Sean Kingsley.
And here's Chris Atkins. And it's been a curious year, one way or the other. There's been some big discoveries and there's been some kind of oddballs, Chris, as well.
2022 was a great year for shipwreck discoveries, and we had a lot to talk about, a lot to say. This year, not as many, but still, it's been an interesting year.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that 2022 really overachieved one way or the other. Maybe it's all the backlog from COVID. But, here's some highlights, guys, for 2023. And we're excited to share with you. We've got 5 Wreckwatch Oscars we're going to give out this year. And something slightly quirky and different this year. We're also going to recognize books.
Why not?
Where is that champagne the organizers promised us?
I just got this coffee. All right, Sean, so there's been some amazing stuff happening in the Far East. What is it that we are looking at this year for 2023 over in China?
So the whole of Asia has for many, many decades had a huge problem with looting. Countries like China, all they've seen is suddenly this huge cargo would end up in an auction house in Amsterdam or in London and being sold. And it was a source of immense frustration and really sadness at the erosion of their national patrimony.
Right.
So fast forward, China did what China always does. It's been hyper developing. And finally, in this year, it announced the discovery of its first ever deep sea shipwreck. So the Wreckwatch discovery of the year goes to China for a Ming Dynasty supertanker carrying 100,000 pieces of porcelain somewhere towards Asia, and lost during the reign of the Emperor Zhengde between 1506 to 1521. So the discovery of this Ming Dynasty supertanker is a collaboration between the National Center for Archaeology, the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the China Hainan Museum at the site of the China Sea. So congratulations to all of them for Wreckwatch Discovery of the Year.
Sean, what an amazing time capsule. I mean, to have a wreck like this, where it hasn't been destroyed by fishing, and it's just been perfectly preserved there over time. I can't wait to see where this goes and to see what they find on this wreck.
Yeah, this is a mountain of wonders, 3-meter high stuff, and the photos just blow your mind away. It is everything that you'd hope that you would find. It's at 1,500 meters deep, and they're analyzing it with this pretty sophisticated submersible called the Deep Sea Warrior. And, you look back in 1960 where they had no capacity to do any, and 95% of the components are made in China. So, it's exciting for China, and it's also exciting for the world. So far, all they've recovered is 550 odd artifacts. So, there's a lot of information that's going to come up off this thing, learn about trade, learn about technology. People think of the Ming period as this era when this blue and white pottery just invaded the world and ended up on everyone's mantelpieces. But actually, it was an era of really kind of a lot of prohibitions and bans on going out in the sea. So this is really important for showing one period in time when just immense, unimaginable 100,000 pieces of porcelain was heading west. So, congratulations to China, and we're really stoked to see what other discoveries turn up in 2024.
Now, as we lead up to our next Oscar, Sean, we do need to acknowledge that the Titanic, all of these many years later, the tragedy appears to have continued with the loss of the Titan submersible, and our condolences to all of those involved, the family members, the crew members. A terrible, terrible tragedy. But at the same time, during this year, in the midst of that tragedy, we also had an amazing success by the company Magellan, who has completed this incredible 3D scan. The amount of information that we're still learning from the Titanic and the things that we're discovering are just incredible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Titanic is the most famous shipwreck in the world, and people aren't going to stop exploring it and asking questions. We think we know everything about the Titanic, from the way it was built through to how it went down, but actually I'm told we don't. And we made a lot of assumptions about how the ship sank and what it looks like on the seabed and what might be left. But enter stage left Magellan, and they decided to do this incredible 3D photogrammetric scan And they took 715,000 photos from all angles and then stitched it together in software. It took 7 months. I'm told that this scan is 10 times larger than anything that had been done before. So, that's really mind-blowing. And of course, this is a new baseline for evidence-based research rather than speculation of Titanic. So big congratulations to Magellan, and watch this space for Atlantic Productions television production, which is apparently going to be forthcoming soon, which should be, a real blockbuster.
So the Wreckwatch Oscar of Technology of the Year goes to Magellan, and thank you to all of those technicians and scientists and everybody involved in making such an incredible technology that we are able to look into the past and see such amazing details on one of the biggest, most significant wrecks of our time. So Sean, now our next Oscar, the Oscar for the Mystery of the Year. This takes us to one of my favorite places on Earth in the Mediterranean, and really goes back about 2,000 years. This is a Roman shipwreck, which when I think of Roman shipwrecks, I think of warships, I think of amphora, I think of all that kind of stuff. But this really had a different cargo, something that I certainly didn't expect.
Yeah, this is something really quirky and different. This is a cargo of Roman glass, Chris, that's been found near Cape Corsa in Corsica at a depth of 350 meters. This is a project that's being pursued by the National Superintendency for Underwater Cultural Heritage in Italy and RASMA, the French Department for Underwater Archaeology. And so Wreckwatch is giving them the Mystery of the Year Oscar. And what is that mystery? Well, on the seabed, you've got about 10 tons of glass. Not objects that are finished, like plates and bowls, etc., but raw glass. And why? What's going on? The mystery here is that this glass wasn't made in the West. It was made all the way over in the Near East, somewhere between Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine, as it was called by the Romans, or Israel today. But the big mystery remains, where did this glass or this ship originate from? Was it Syria? Was it Lebanon? Was it Jordan? Don't know. But if you look at the video, they got one special type of quite narrow carrot-shaped amphora. And we know that these kind of jars were being produced in Berytus, which was a Roman Beirut. So maybe that's the place where it came from. There's a lot of research still to be done on this fascinating shipwreck, and congratulations to the teams involved for the Cape Corsa Roman glass wreck. Is the Wreckwatch Mystery of the Year Oscar.
All right, Sean, so now we are going to our first Oscar for the Book of the Year for 2023, and this kind of takes us back to our Oscar that we gave last year for Big Discovery of the Year in 2022. Which book is this?
Some people remember where they were when Elvis died or Michael Jackson passed away. And I would always remember where I was when the TV announced this discovery. This is the group from the Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust that went all the way to Antarctica looking for Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance. And no one had been to that part of the Weddell Sea until the Endurance was there over a century ago. And I remember sitting there and I got the kind of spine-tingling sensation. The hairs on my back got up and I thought, you know what, I think they've done it. And the television announced it. And, I'm a hard-nosed scientist and I had a bit of a tear in my eye. And I went, oh, they've done it. It was a strange moment. But anyway, fast forward now. Mensenbaum, a friend of the show, he's written this amazing book, The Ship Beneath the Sea, published by Pan Macmillan. He really sees what happened. He takes us back to this moment in time and shares through entries of the crew and Shackleton, interspersed with his own observations of, helping run this project and really just overcoming Mission Impossible. And what I like about this book is Menson is incredibly honest and humble, and there's a poetic beauty about his words. They're short, punchy chapters, almost as if you're like Shackleton writing your diary entry from the shadow from a candle at night. And it's really beautiful. There's great color and immense detail from like the music the crew played, how they exercised, and how they even relieved themselves at sea.
Well, Sean, this ship, the Endurance, is really an archaeological masterpiece, frozen in time under the ice. And Menson's book is just an incredible window into the history of the ship and into the history of his exploration and discovering it. It's just incredible. So congratulations, Menson. What a great job both in the discovery of the Endurance, and also thank you so much for this incredible book.
So congratulations to all of the team involved for the Wreckwatch Nonfiction Book of the Year.
And now, Sean, we have another new category for our Shipwreck Oscars. This is Book of the Year, The People's Choice. And this is a fascinating book. Because first of all, this takes place not too far from where you live. And while it is kind of an underwater exploration, it's under the mucky, muddy water banks of the Thames River.
If I was asked you what is the greatest archaeological site in London, don't answer, because it's a loaded question. There's great sites which are being dug up by various trusts and commercial groups in London, but actually what has really grabbed me in the last couple of years, and I find incredibly romantic, is if you go along the Thames in the morning or at night when it's dark, you'll see these spotlights and these torches sort of flashing down by the foreshore. And there's this group of people, the mudlarks, who spend every waking hour when they're not working down there looking for all kinds of treasures, because the Thames was the greatest garbage dump in London for thousands of years. Fast forward to the modern day, there's 2 tides every day, and the level of the water goes up and down by 10 meters. And as it does, it erodes the foreshore, and these incredible objects are turning up. And it is said that the River Thames in London is the greatest archaeological site in Britain. I disagree. I think the River Thames is the greatest archaeological site in the world. There's millions of objects which went in there. So this is why I was just overjoyed when I saw this book by Jason Sandy, Mudlarks, Treasures from the Thames, published by Silver Gravity. And that's why we're giving them the Wreckwatch Book of the Year, The People's Choice. Because it's just so full of color, exuberance, and happiness, this book. What Jason has managed to do is he alternates between thematic chapters on the art of smoking, pirates of the River Thames, ancient jewelry, weapons and warfare, or the working river, with the personal accounts of all his friends and the other mudlarks who found all kinds of things. So it goes on their journey as well, and it's really very touching.
It really is archaeology for the people, by the people. And to see how anyone can do this, really, right? You don't need a big scientific degree. You don't need to be a professor, but people from all ages, all walks of life are participating in this.
And Chris, we have to say, not just anyone can go mudlarking. You have to have a permit from the Port of London authorities. And if you find anything that's over 300 years old, you have to report it to the Museum of London. That's a condition.
No, that's a very good point, Sean. Now, your education doesn't restrict you from doing this. Your status in society doesn't prevent you from doing this, but you do need to have that permit.
Congratulations to Jason and Silver Gravity. Well earned. Book of the Year, The People's Choice. So Chris, I can't pick a favorite. There's been great variety in 2023. But what's done it for you this year?
First of all, this has been such an amazing year because it's our first full year of Wreckwatch TV. And I'm
whoop, whoop.
Yeah, where's the fireworks? Oh, they're taking place behind us. But it's our first year of having Wreckwatch TV, and the response has been amazing. We're so glad that our people have been subscribing, people have been commenting and watching, and it's opened up some really amazing opportunities for us. For instance, Mike Fletcher and I were able to travel to Newfoundland, our far most eastern province of Canada, and we dove on the 4 Bell Island wrecks. These are World War II wrecks. If you've been following along, you've seen the videos. If you haven't, check out those videos because they're a lot of fun. Because now we're not just sitting here in our home offices talking about shipwrecks. We're actually exploring them and diving on them and showing them to you from firsthand from our perspective and learning about history. As a Canadian, I had no idea that the Germans had actually attacked Canada. So this is incredible for me to be able to go and explore and learn about some of my own history. This was such a terrific experience with Ocean Quest Adventures and Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. They made all of that possible. And Sean, because of that, we have some exciting things coming up in 2024. So be prepared. You're not just going to see us in our offices wearing our fancy blazers and silly shirts, but we will be outside in the world. We are going to be exploring shipwrecks. We're going to be diving and meeting amazing people, archaeologists, scientists, and the average everyday explorer.
This is a golden age for discovery, exploration, and technology. And of course, Wreckwatch Magazine did a special issue on technology this year. So if you haven't checked it out, get to wreckwatchmag.com and it's there for free. So 2024 is going to be great guns. I'm super excited. So if you have a project that you'd like Wreckwatch to cover, then get in touch and let's see if we can make it happen.
You're absolutely right, Sean. And to all of our viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments, and make sure that you hit like on all of our videos, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because there are more videos coming and you don't want to miss any of what's coming up. And also, there are ways for all of our viewers to get involved. We now have the Wreckwatch TV memberships. You can click join at the bottom of this screen right here on YouTube. And if you're interested, we're starting to develop some of our own cool clothes, like this hat, for instance, and some t-shirts, and check out our store. And remember, when you subscribe or become a member or buy some of our t-shirts and hats, you are helping support this channel. So thank you to all of our supporters. You're making this possible for us to continue to make this fun, fascinating content for free right here on YouTube.
2023 has been profound, it's been emotional, but 2024 is going to be phenomenal. And we can't wait to take you to exciting places where deep down we all care.
Sean, you're absolutely right. And we would also like to thank our team here, Zach and Everett, who have been behind the scenes helping us throughout this entire year, making a lot of the content that you're watching. So thank you guys, and thank you viewers, and Happy New Year from all of us here at Wreckwatch TV.
See you on the flip side.